Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for attending. Our roll call, John Oshk is here.
Joe Bailey here.
John Mullen here.
Okay, first item. Whoa. The length of this agenda, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Second. All right, first item. Minutes from December 10th. I think that was our last one. Which I've already looked at. The motion to accept.
So move.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Good. Next. Department of Transportation Work Zone Agreement. Do we know what that is?
Nope.
Laura does.
Yeah. This goes back to her.
What is this, to put charrettes up, or, Route 153, remove and replace installation of horizontal curve signs? Is
The
that
same
what-
thing that we just did.
Same, that's what I just thought.
Okay. So are they asking us for permission?
They just want you to acknowledge that they're gonna be
Doing that.
doing the
Okay,
work.
when?
I think it's probably in there sometime, probably the summer. I didn't read that, but.
Doesn't say. Work on. Construction will be completed during the day and will not require detours. Tree trimming, traffic sign removal, relocation installation. You're gonna start advertising for it in January this month. Anticipate that the construction will begin and end during the summer of 2019. Okay?
What are the things they're doing besides tree trimming, moving signs?
It's basically to enhance traffic signs and curbs, like we did here with the chevrons that we put up on Kings Highway. I think that's what they're gonna be doing.
I think that's pretty nice too, man.
Some people like it,
I
some
like
people don't.
I like it.
Tree trimming,
On Ridge Road, especially, Ridge Road is full of curves,
Yeah,
and it
traffic
is
sign
outstanding.
removal. Yeah, this is all on 153.
yeah.
It's not, this is the state highway.
Sure, but the ones that
Oh, yeah.
Rick put up on Ridge
Sign
Road.
relocation
We'll be all Chevron Bell.
and
Still
sign
got signs left
installation.
over.
Those Chevrons.
You know we do.
Traffic impacts during construction will include shoulder and lane closures, flaggers, uniformed officers facilitating traffic movement.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All work on this project will be performed such that traffic is unimpeded whenever possible. Okay? All right? I don't think we need a vote.
I think you have to sign the last page.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, you sign.
All right, while I'm doing that, what's next? ENH Power. NH must be New Hampshire. Electric Power?
You want this?
Yeah, apparently we had signed an agreement back in, I don't know when. As you know, Eversource, a while back, we allowed competitive companies to come in and bid on the electricity of your power, not the transmission, but the electricity. So there was a lot of independent companies, so back, I don't know when we signed this, but we signed an agreement with ENH Power. And their electric rates it's a fixed rate for 36 months, 3 years, at $11.40 per kilowatt. Right now, the kilowatt rate from PSNH or Eversource is
$9.68.
$9.60. I would get nervous about, get nervous about locking in for 36 months because we don't know where the rates would go up or down. So I would not be in favor of this. I would go with Eversource at $9, and if they go up past, we can change anytime. Just change.
That's available for independent homeowners too, and that's what I've done this year, switch
Yeah,
from being.
there's a lot of them out, there's a lot of them out there. E&H is not the only one, but that is your kilowatt usage,
You can get a
not your transmission. Your transmission is supplied by Eversource. And it's painless to switch, you don't even have to do anything, you just call them up, Eversource, and say, we're switching out, you switch out.
So, you're recommending?
I would,
Anybody else have input?
I'd recommend,
No.
that's,
So we do not do this contract.
No.
If we don't do this contract, do we automatically just fall into Eversource's rates?
I think-
Automatically? So do we have to contact them and say,
Oh, no, we'll contact Eversource
Yeah,
and tell
we'll
them we don't
contact-
want E&H anymore.
yeah,
okay,
yeah, because E&H doesn't bill us,
Do we have to send a letter to ENH saying,
probably, so
this is probably the contract, but if we wanted to do it, we'd have to sign it and send it to them.
we'll probably have to say, sorry, but
I'll draft the letter.
no thanks.
Equalization ratio. Taxes?
No, that's a signature page, right?
I'm guessing this is already done.
Yeah,
All right.
you just have to sign off on it.
What does it say?
We're at 100%.
What does that mean? Oh, okay, we're at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, holy, yeah. Okay, so where do we all sign it or just the chairman?
Nope, I think you all signed the pink.
All sign
It says
it.
assessing of the,
Pink?
yeah, I didn't make the paper.
Do you have to do that every year?
Hmm.
Because we've been at 100% for, I don't know how long.
And we weren't at 100%.
94 last year.
Yeah,
When did that change? It was
probably
always-
just because of our reval, we went back to 100%.
Yeah, 2016, we were 99.1, 2017, we were down to 91.3, and 2018, we were 99.3.
So now we're 100.
Well, no, we're 99.3, rounded up. Well, we're 1.7 of a point short of being.
Nothing's 100, not even ivory.
Okay, solar energy exemption. Anybody can't remember? This is 19, 18, I think it was 17. We voted at a town meeting to allow people an exemption from increased taxes if they put on solar energy in the house. Okay?
Residential.
Yes.
Anybody?
I'm not sure it said residential. Did it? I don't know.
Didn't
I thought it was
specify
residential.
residential, no, I don't think so. I'll double check, but I don't think so.
I thought that this was a one-shot deal. All the people wanted to do it.
I mean, just that year?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was
No.
continual.
Okay.
You approved those, Joe, because they had missed the deadline, because they didn't know, that's what.
They didn't know, yeah, right. So
In
this
case
is
the
all
whole
br-
back, that has to be filled out. I think we're looking for permission, and then sign it and fill out the rest of the information.
I don't think they have to fill out the back, so just the solar exemption part.
Okay.
I'll check with
All
Kathleen.
tax
She's-
credit, veterans
Yeah.
exemption, disabled, local options, okay.
Is that an individual application?
Yes. Anderson, Rodney and Adrian, Nancy maybe? Rodney and Nancy Anderson, 48 Partridge Drive, Middleton. Okay. All right. We sign it, I don't need a vote on it, it's already done by the town people in the meeting. Great. While I'm doing this, we'll talk about the investment policy.
You have to have a new one signed every January. Okay, I didn't change anything.
This has been around for a while.
Speaking of investment policy, our audit annually is coming up in February. And yes, as part of our audit, they do ask for the investment policy. So,
I think you need a motion for this one though.
Investment policy?
yeah. Looking for amendment to, a motion to accept our investment policy for the investment in public funds, and it would be dated probably,
Today, the 7th?
but approved adoption and no policy at this meeting, so it's
So
effective
moved.
immediately.
So moved.
Okay?
Second.
Any discussion? Everybody understands what we're doing? Okay. So the meeting held on 7 January. Okay. Purchasing policy. Oh, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's a long agenda, I'm trying to move along here. All right, purchasing, yes.
Found out or realized we don't have a purchasing policy. We have a policy of, something over $500. We have to, I don't even know what it is. I think we ought to look at a purchasing policy. And so, maybe during our workshops, we can talk about that.
On the ordinances,
Yeah.
talk about this as
Yeah,
well, I
and a
agree.
policy. I looked at several towns, I looked at about 10 towns today, and some of their policies, Salem is 26 pages long, New Durham is 3 pages long, most of them are 3 to 7 pages long, not real complicated. They kind of lay out everything, they lay out the dollar amounts and the process, and I think we ought to take a look at that.
I would suggest we do it when we
Yeah,
talk
we're gonna
about
have a
the
workshop. Yeah,
ordinances workshop.
I agree. I agree.
Speaking of policies, how about an Old Town Hall policy for profit?
Okay. Had an interesting visit today by a resident who was inquiring about, do we rent the hall? This particular individual wanted to do, what did she want to do? She wanted
Exercise class?
exercise class. And she said that, she said, well, she got a rate from the school. I said, you did?
For what?
To rent a portion of the school,
Of the
I guess
school,
it's
okay.
the gym, to do her class. And I said, well, how long is this? It's an hour. And she charges to run the, whatever it is, Pilates or yoga, whatever it is. And she wanted to know if and then we said, no, we're not for profit, but what the school board charges is $35 an hour. She also said that there's no place, she has, on Facebook, she's acquired about 30 people that would be interested in doing this class. She said the closest ones that I can get, she hasn't done any more with the school, would be Rochester and Alton to rent a facility. In Alton, what they do, it's a facility behind the fire station, I guess they rent the hall. And what they do there is they charge a percentage of her intake, sales, that's what the rental is. So if you have 10, and they charge 20%. So if you have 10 people at $20 a hit, that's $200, we get $20 for that rental. So, I mean, we did this, I wrote this policy myself, and I think we went through it. what does the board think of, what was our premise behind no profit?
That it would be used for town use, but not for someone trying to run a business there,
So,
which is kinda like with this.
so it is exactly this, I mean, I think maybe what I would be concerned about profit is, some individual or group wanna set up I don't know, some kind of sale to benefit this and that, and that would be for profit. So what would the thoughts be that, events for profit will be at the will of the Board of Selectmen? And it wouldn't be automatic, you could take a look at it and
That'd
make
be
a
kind of
judgment?
tough like that, because if we didn't we allowed some people, not other people, then
Well.
they can say we're biased against them and cause problems that way.
Yeah,
I like it the way it is, only because of the fact that the building's all completely brand new, renovated and taken care of, okay? People before would go in there and they would had, I don't know, they had an exercise thing like that, and they would sit there and had that thing locked up, booked up for year upon year upon year, paying virtually nothing. We couldn't even recover the cost of the electricity and the heat for the damn thing. I mean, I don't want us to go in the hole because somebody wants to rent it to make money, no. If anything, let's make more money if they wanna rent it. If you're that serious, you want it, then we're gonna be guaranteed that the time you're there for that hour, you're paying for the electric and the heat out of it.
well, that's.
And pay for someone to clean it.
Well, that's why we have on some of the, if it's a private function, right? We charge them $100 for one day, right? And then if it's 2 weeks, we charge them 50, and if it's every week, we charge them 20 a week.
Which I don't think is enough.
What's that?
I don't think it's enough. $20 a week, $20 over there for one day, and you have how many people you want in there, you know? It's not gonna take care of it.
Barely pay the heat, let alone the lights.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
just saying, but I think we shortchange ourselves. I mean, I wanna see that thing not go back in disarray as it was before, because no one really took care of it. And the taxpayers have shelled out a lot of money to put this back in the shape it's
Well,
in. And I don't wanna see anybody who, I mean, you know, it's just how things work out.
I was just thinking of the ability to get additional revenue. That's where only I was going in.
I don't,
I had thought about just a percentage, or charge them a flat fee of $100 plus percentage, but then, you know, $35 an hour for the school is relative, I mean, you know, we would charge, whether it's an hour or 10 hours or whatever the time frame is, $100 for one day. So we're still, but this particular individual only needs it for an hour. And then we did rent it out before to somebody that did quilting and that kind of stuff, so.
yeah, that was a long time ago.
Bill?
So when I worked for Brewster Academy, we had the Picnic Boathouse, I was in charge of renting that. 0 to 4 hours was a certain rate. 4 to 10 hours was a different rate as well. And one day was one. So you could rent it out for 4 hours, forget what the rate was. You could rent it out for 8 hours, or you could rent it out for the whole day.
Yeah.
I see the building as being used by the townspeople. I don't see it for profit. I'm concerned that we spent so much money to get this thing up and running, and then it gnaws on me to think someone's making a profit off it, when it's the townspeople who paid for that thing.
And the problem is, my big problem is 1 or 2 people, you're not gonna make enough money off of it to generate enough revenue to offset expenses over there anyhow. I mean, you know, what are you, how much money do you think you're gonna make off of it?
Yeah. Well, we don't do that when we rent it to resident, well, we don't charge residents if it's
Right.
open to the public. And even a private, $100 for the day does cover.
Well, yeah, for a day, for an hour, $20 isn't gonna cover nothing,
No,
so,
no.
I hate to say it, I mean,
For every week,
right.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
Hell, if they have somebody clean it, it'll cost you more than that.
all right, I'm just threw it out there.
Look, I'm not opposed to if you wanna change those numbers higher to accommodate taking care of it. I got no problem with that, but as it is now, I don't see where we're gonna gain anything on it. I think we're gonna go low again.
Okay. So, thought I'd throw it up.
Folks, this is your town
Pop
hall.
check.
No, no, I just
What do you
threw it
think?
up.
Keep it for the town.
I'm the same way, keep it for the town. People, once you get 30 or 40 people in there jumping around and doing things, it's gonna start causing damage to the water and stuff like that, no. It's too nice of a place to destroy again.
You can't rent it at any competitive rate to compete with anybody else, and if you don't rent it at a higher rate than the others are charging, you're going in the hole.
Right.
Case closed.
Yeah.
All right, we need a vote, or do we
No,
get a sense of what?
yep, I got some. Thank you.
Sorry, man.
No, that's all right.
I would,
That's what you
Have
were
to
looking
agree
for,
with you.
Rich. Yeah.
I'd have to agree with Joe, though, I think your rates are on the low side for what, even for the townspeople.
I think it's more geared for the taxpayers who may wanna take advantage of it like that,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, the taxpayers put a lot of money in that, so that's why the rates are the way they are. On a private, you know, I mean, the school's different, $35 an hour, and the criteria was if a custodian is there. If the custodian is not there, it's a different
But I
story.
think your rates, even for the people outside of town, are on the low side,
Well,
just an opinion.
$100 a day probably is pretty low, but it's for the public, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, schedule workshop for ordinance, personnel policy, and purchasing policy.
Yeah, so they-
Yeah. I think we need to set one up.
I agree.
I'm available 24/7.
Okay. Within reason, so am I, except this Thursday, Friday.
I won't be available tomorrow, but I'm available on the weekends.
I think
I'm
Joe
available.
should be driven by your schedule.
Driven by your schedule.
And remember,
I'm wide open, because I got nothing going.
Laura's not here on a Friday.
Oh, well, you wanna do it really, really soon, like maybe Wednesday?
No,
Other than snowstorm.
Okay. So you wanna go the week after?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys choose the day the week after, and I'll make my schedule fit. It won't be a problem for me.
give yourself a chance to adjust your schedule.
Yeah.
Pick a day, pick a time.
Laura, if you're gonna be part of this, taking notes or whatever, I'd say Monday is already a busy day for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Tuesday, would be fine. Tuesday, Thursday would be great. Whatever you, so you guys figure it out and tell me, and I'll be like, no.
I didn't bring my phone.
Let's figure next month, let's figure a week from Wednesday.
All right,
so next Wednesday, the 16th?
Yeah,
so that's the 16th?
yeah.
What time?
Does that work for you, Joe?
What time?
Well, I've got a doctor's appointment in the morning, but I could be back here by 11 o'clock.
And make it,
One?
We're gonna
make it 1
o'clock.
o'clock. That way you get a chance to have lunch and stuff like that, so.
1 PM on 16th of January.
Okay.
Put it in my calendar now, because I'll forget.
All right. Conservation Commission appointment.
Two new members for the Conservation Commission, they were appointed at the last meeting. One is Kim Murphy, and the other one is Nicole Raynon. And I make a motion that we accept their recommendation, and it's two new members on the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Names again, please? Kim,
Kim Murphy and Nicole Raynon, Rainone. They've been at a couple meetings, and they're very enthusiastic, helpful, have some good input.
And they're both residents of the town?
Both residents of
Okay.
the town,
All
yeah.
right. I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion, any input from anybody? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good.
John Cleary?
Nah.
So on this one,
Oh,
too.
I got them from what's her, that's okay.
I'm gonna cross that out. Is that all right?
Yeah, and then
And
I'm
I'm
still
gonna-
the chair.
And I'm gonna put my name in
Guess they
here,
didn't update their form, huh? Gotta update
and I will initial.
Please don't go anyways.
Can I ask what my status is on Conservation Committee?
You can you can join the meetings just like you can here, but you cannot be a member of the commission. By statute,
By statute?
by statute.
You have to be a resident.
You have to be a
right?
resident of the town that you reside in for the commission. You can certainly come to the meetings, and you've had good input at the meetings, you certainly can do that, but you can't be a member.
Okay.
All right, anything else on that? Next, employee evaluations.
You have to schedule your department head evaluations. When do you wanna do those?
We're gonna do it the following Wednesday at 1 o'clock. That'll be the 23rd. It's at 1 o'clock, I can do it. Wednesday,
23rd?
23 January, 1 PM.
Good enough for me.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay. Properties for sale.
Gotta put out notices for the department.
Yes. We will,
What time we gotta be here.
yes.
Okay, so, I'm putting these two properties up for sale. One, somebody wanted to bid on, so I had to do the 90-day letter. The other one is the Pleasant Valley Road. We don't want it.
Well, we already have it.
We have it. We have both of these. We haven't had them 3 years, so I had to do the 90 days and all of that, which has all been done. Legal says that we can take equipment and go demolish the building on the end of, Pleasant Valley if we choose to do so. Or we can sell it just the way it is and get it out of our hair.
It's just machine and stuff, and there's no argument.
That's everything that's owed in taxes that we're asking, so we're not.
So why, you said one, somebody's interested,
Mm-hmm.
and you just added the other one as well, or somebody's interested in that?
The neighbor's been asking about that, but we don't want that. That's a liability for us.
That's
We
the
have to
one that-
insure it and all of that.
Pleasant Valley, yes.
Okay.
That's at the end.
Yeah.
And if we ask for more, like put them out to like, the money just goes to the people, so I mean, we don't really, you don't have to, you just get your town's money back and any legal costs and all
And
of
that's
that.
$8,000 what we have invested in it.
Mhm.
The building that's the end of Pleasant Valley Road, why can't it be used for firemen?
For what? To build?
Burn it,
It's concrete, isn't it?
It's all concrete.
Yeah, it's
Is
just
it
a
concrete?
foundation.
try burning it, Bill.
We can try like that.
It's full of
Try.
rats.
I have a hotter fire.
Use it for that,
What do you think?
We would have to make a
like you
recommendation.
did that other one, the smoke tricks, you know.
Right,
But
that's
that would
usually
be
I
part of the
just,
bid process, if they wanna bid on it, they have to be demolished. Or we can just go tell the town, go down and do it,
Right.
that's it.
so I mean, we can, I know that the neighbor is interested, whether he'll pay what we want or whatever, that's totally, so you can leave it and see, or we can demolish it and it costs us more money on having it. I mean, that's up to you guys.
I haven't seen the condition of it, is it in bad shape?
It's infested with rats,
Then it should be knocked down.
but maybe the neighbor will take care of that. There's so much stuff on that property too, though.
But it's a liability for the town right now.
Uh-huh.
It's a health liability, number one.
Remember, we had to take action on the one at the bottom of Middleton Hill. There's a little 1/8 acre
Yeah.
with the remnants.
Yeah.
The town,
Was that in the middle of the property, is that what that?
Right, yep.
we,
That's the one, lot number 41, because that is still listed as separate, it hasn't been
I have
merged.
no idea what lot that was, I just remember there was a.
Oh, it was merged, it was Fuller. He actually sold it. I don't even think he lives there anymore.
there's two Fuller brothers.
Yeah, I think Matt moved.
Okay. All right, so what's on Spruce Road?
Just land.
Okay.
Peter Chictolini showed an interest and wanted to know if I would post it for sale, so.
Okay.
And that person never responded to my notices, so I don't know what happened to them.
What part of Spruce Road? Is it the,
It's right next to the other two lots
okay,
that he owns.
yep,
I think it's swampy, to be honest, but I can't be totally sure.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion to put these properties up for sale after doing the required paperwork.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
all right, discussion from everyone? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Just for general knowledge, when we sell property, we're not trying to make money, we're trying to get it back on the tax roll so somebody else will pay their taxes. Okay.
And we cover what our investment is into
Right.
it, pretty much.
Okay. And it's often our hope that the person who buys it is the one who lives next door, and they will merge the lots so that the area doesn't become more dense with population, which is nice, particularly on vacant lots. Okay. All right, deputy town clerk appointment.
Okay.
Anyone wish to speak?
So Brianne, is that how you say it, Brianne Garland has been job shadowing, Janelle and Kathleen for the deputy town clerk. So they are recommending her hire.
Okay.
Part-time, 1 to 2 days a week as needed. There's her pay. She'd start at 10:50 until she's trained, and then she'd go to 11. They're not gonna send her for training until 30 days of shadowing. So it's not a waste if she doesn't like it.
Right.
Zero.
Was, Brianna, was today your first day of shadowing?
That's Janelle.
Janelle, I'm sorry, was today your first day?
No, she was here a day last week, and then
Okay.
she was here
I
today.
think I met her then.
Yeah, you did, you met her last week,
Very nice, young.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Motion to accept, as
Second.
described in there, the rates of pay and so forth. Okay. Good. Second, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay. Looks like I've signed this. So, that's from Nicole. Okay, under old business, a lot of this is from me. It has come to our attention that Old Tate Lane, which has always been a private road, is currently being plowed and maintained by the town of Middleton. Because way back in 2005, it was declared an emergency lane for water purposes. There's water down at the far end. At that time, other roads were also declared emergency lanes, but over the years, they've all been rescinded. I think Eau Claire was one, Pond Road was one. Ridge Road, Pine Ridge Road or something.
Pine
Okay.
Ridge.
So I think the only one left is Old Tate Lane. I've been down to look at it. I asked Chief Lawrence to go look at it, and I've talked with the highway department. It's questionable whether you could ever get water out of there, and it is the consideration of the fire department, you can correct me if you wish, that they would not use it for fire. That being the case, I wonder if we should still be plowing it. In fact, I am surprised that people that live on the other private roads in town have not said, why are we still plowing that road and you're not plowing mine? So I'm looking for some consideration, discussion from you, and a vote from the selectmen. I sent letters out to all residents, inviting them, all residents of Old Tate Lane, inviting them to come here to talk about this. We got all the letters back because apparently it's not a Middleton address. It's covered by the Farmington Post Office. So I would still be willing to take action tonight, and they're welcome to come in and discuss it. I've reviewed the law. Even though it was deemed an emergency lane, that declaration can be rescinded at any time by the vote of the selectmen with no concern of penalties, lawsuits from the people that live there. All right, so it's within our prerogative at any time to stop this. All right? So, any discussion? Yea, nay, yes.
Isn't that covered, how many years ago was it that the state said that you cannot spend public money on private roads?
Unless it's an emergency road.
Okay,
Right,
well, it's been declared an emergency road.
right.
However, the person responsible for why it was done doesn't need it anymore or doesn't want it,
Yep,
then there doesn't seem like there's any reason.
Well, it wasn't
should be
that,
kept.
it was us when we were going, I sat on the board at that
it's
time.
you and
Lou,
Lou Vito, and I think you were chief at the time, so we have all the,
So
most of the
we
main
all
people
sat
right.
up on the board, and at that time, we did away with the rest of all the private roads, like you say, Old Tate we left because supposedly, if the fire department, like, that's what we were figuring. And of course, the people there were saying that there was water down at the end, if they were on that end of the town, they could go get the water. But I think personally, the lake is much, much closer. You know,
Well, the lake isn't, in order to get water from that side of the town, you can't drive all the way around through town.
well,
He didn't have, he only had, basically it was a bridge, but it was more of a ramp
right,
going over to his place.
yeah.
Then when we had that big flood, remember that
Right.
one? That moved his bridge. He redid his bridge, so now it's 7 feet off the top of the water. So now it goes up and over, and he built a covered bridge in there. We can't get a truck through there.
Yeah. So personally, at the time, that's what we were using it for, like you say, it had to get the fire department over there. And you were in agreement at that time, I think.
Absolutely right.
So we left that one there, but if it's not feasible to do it, then no, don't do it.
Can you draft water off Silver Street?
Yes.
Good. You want
How many people are gonna be surprised because they haven't been notified yet? How many people live down there?
6 or 8, somewhere around
6.
there? Okay.
there's another condition too. That road is so narrow and so crooked, you can't get a one vehicle past another one in there, especially if you have a truck. So you couldn't turn around in there, you'd be caught in there if something happened down there.
And if you're familiar with the road, it's kind of level to here, but the last, I don't know, 1/10 of the mile is a steep hill going down to Tatero's property.
There's in between trees in the front there too. It's not a good thing.
I would be interested in having this effective 1 June, such that we finish the year. I don't think anybody can be reasonably expected to find someone else to plow in the middle of January. People have already got their contracts, plow people are already occupied.
We are resending the letters. Are we recomposing the letters, or what are we gonna do? Or are we gonna wait,
I guess I have to recompose them and
say the decision?
I'm glad to talk to them, but,
Decision's been made, it's
Yeah,
only
it's
made tonight, so.
I make a motion that we remove the declaration of Old Tape Loan as an emergency lane, effective June 1, 2019.
I will second.
by the way, everybody knows where Old Tate Lane is, right? Everybody? Okay. All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, next one is me, although John Mullen had a hand in this as well.
Oh,
Week or two ago, during one of our storms, maybe it was back in November, I don't know, doesn't matter. I parked my rig out here, and as I'm walking in, I noticed that the town's big payloader is plowing the church parking lot. I walked in and asked Laura, why does the town plow the church parking lot? We've always done it that way. Not 30 seconds later, John Mullen walks in and asks the same exact question. Okay, so I did some checking. First, I talked with Reverend Tom Gardner. He doesn't know why we've been plowing all these years. I checked with the highway department, thinking that maybe there's some overriding reason. And no one on the highway department knows why we have plowed it over the years, okay? someone offered a suggestion that, well, maybe it's meant for overflow parking for people coming to the town hall. In the many years I've been here, I've never seen anyone park over there to walk here. Okay? At a town meeting, I've seen people park here and walk over to the town hall, but I've never seen anyone park there. All right?
I can tell you why.
Okay?
We used to park the school buses over there, and that's why we kept it clean.
Okay.
But we don't park the
That's right,
school
then.
buses there no more, they go to, and if we get the new building, they're gonna be down there, so.
Or, we have a school now.
Yes.
We have
When we started plowing, there was no school.
Right.
And now there is. So,
So you
Wants
don't
to
have to
park
do
the
that
bus there,
anymore.
let them plow it.
right.
I have a couple problems with plowing, the church parking lot. Basically, and I think you're right, it was for the school buses.
Yeah, it was.
Without question. And that was understandable at the time. However, we are two separate political entities. We got no money for plowing that from the school or from the church. And I don't like public money being spent on religious properties. I don't think it's the right thing to do. So, I think the school board's gonna have to, they're not, they do have some vehicles, the little ones that park there, but I guess most of the buses are parked at the bus driver's home. I think that's where they go now. Is that right, John?
Yes,
Okay, so the big buses aren't parked there. I've seen them once in a while parked there.
once in a while,
Overnight,
they
once in a
do
while.
their training, they'll train there with permission from the
Well,
pastor.
that would be, in terms of what, how they use it, or how the school board uses what, that's between them and whoever they do. I don't feel the town should go over there and plow it out.
The only other reason why the school buses parked there before was because of no school, but also, they never charged the town to use their parking lot. It was free, so that's why they plowed it for nothing too.
But that was the town that
And that-
plowed it, not the school board, even though there wasn't a building.
Right. It was done,
I
it
think
was
the
a
two should be separate.
wash one hand, wash the
Yeah,
other,
well,
and nobody said anything.
yeah, right, okay. Well, if they want us to plow, the school board can pay.
Now they don't need it.
No, well, I mean, if they wanted us to plow the parking lot down there, we wouldn't be happy to do it because we would have to, we've already explored that, that wouldn't work. So, okay.
Anybody else input? Again, I would not make a change now, I'd make it effective June 1st.
Yeah.
For the same reasons.
So move.
Okay?
Make a motion.
Yeah, he moved.
I moved.
I'll second that.
Good. Any other discussion? Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. And the next one's me. As we speak, there is still a UPS trailer, double axle, parked out here. For the past, this year and, I don't know, 1 or 2 years prior, UPS has parked a U-Haul truck or their own trailer to facilitate the movement of packages being delivered in and around Middleton. The workers have been very nice. They have asked us where to put it and so forth. And I was one of the selectmen that said, yeah, that's okay. But I'm starting to think about it. First of all, it's still out there. It's gone from a week or two before Christmas to now a week or two after New Year's. In fact, I called them today about it and they said, well, we really need it for a few more days. Okay. I'm not gonna change the policy midstream, but I have to wonder why a private company is availing themselves of town property to run their business.
For free.
Okay? Well, not quite for free. We have received requests from them that we add extra patrols for the police to keep track of their trailer, okay? So now let's look at the bigger picture. Could Could FedEx put a trailer out there? I mean, UPS is there, why not FedEx? Okay? It's the cold heating season. Could an oil company or propane company park a truck there in case they need it? I mean, where do we say yes and where do we start saying no? Well, I'm concerned that by having UPS there, that we're opening ourselves up for other people saying, oh, we want to use it. There's some good solutions, I think. Not up to me to decide where they go to, but UPS could go across the street to the church and maybe pay something to the church. Okay? But still be
parking lot.
something. Yeah, well, okay. So, it's an inconvenience for us to plow around it. At one point, I think you were involved, Laura, they had 2 trucks out there, and I don't know whether you went out or somebody went out and said, hey, wait a minute, it's taking up all the space.
Yeah, there were 2 trucks out there yesterday.
Yeah.
They
So-
switch, they come up and they unload and offload. Or unload, offload and unload, or unload and offload.
So they're delivering all the package before Christmas, now they're getting all the stuff to take back.
So, what do you folks think? Is this, should we be doing this?
Now, if you do it for one, you have to do it for everybody.
How about when we close or post some of these roads during mud season? Could the owner of those trucks say, well, gee, I can just park my truck here for 3 or 4 weeks till the roads are open again? I don't think we would be happy with that. You guys have any feelings one way or another?
I make a motion, we send a letter to UPS and ask them to vacate their trailer within 10 days.
Second.
All right, any other discussion? All right, guess I'll be writing some letters
The letter should also include that this policy will be, no
in
longer
the future,
available.
right, yeah.
P.S. Tom Pass's phone number.
You know, I
Give the phone number.
I understand it was, I guess, a convenience
Yes, it was.
for them to properly deliver their packages, and I'm sure it helped deliver packages to the residents of Middleton, but I think it was mostly transferring up to here, so then they could transfer up to Ossipee. That's
And we'll put them.
Oh, I think there's also, as I've watched them, the UPS, the U-Haul truckers out there, and people in small vehicles come and pick out 20 packages that they're gonna deliver in their private vehicle to residences around there in Middleton. Okay? So it was more than just parking there, there's a fair amount of traffic coming and going, right? So,
And some town liability.
I would agree with that. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I happened to be there for this one, but Laura, if you'd like to talk about the lot line adjustment for our pit up in Wolfboro?
Yep, it's all been finalized. We did give the Morgans the 15-foot, 12-foot,
12 feet.
12-foot frontage, road frontage to move their driveway and their power onto their own property. So now I'm just waiting for it to be recorded and I'm waiting to see how we update the deed.
You understand that the town of Middleton owns property in the town of New Durham, from which Rick and his crew gets gravel out, sifts it out so we get sand and so forth. It's been a great deal for us. It's probably during one of our AOTs, alteration of terrain, filling out paperwork, we had to have a place surveyed. When it was surveyed, it was found out that the house the Morgans live in, they didn't build it, they bought it. The house that they live in has underground lines, and part of their driveway, it's on town property. We had 2 choices. We could tell them, move that stuff off our property, including their own driveway. Or we could be good neighbors and say, we'll give you 12 feet over to the telephone pole and we'll make your lot 12 feet bigger. After some negotiations, they agreed that this was a good idea. I give credit to Laura and Ed from the highway department because they've attended several planning board meetings in New Durham, much the same as we have our own planning board meetings. and they got this all done. I went as selectman this last meeting. I found the planning board in New Durham to be most cooperative, very polite, and most willing to work with us. It's nice to see the two towns work together. So it's done, just a deed or something. Interesting that before we did any of this, the frontage we own on the Kings Highway was too short for the number of acres we have. By giving 12 feet, it made our frontage a little bit shorter. And the planning board in New Durham said, well, it's still a good idea to do this. They did not balk at that. Very nice. All right?
That's because we got a variance,
Yes,
Yeah.
from the zoning board in New Durham. So
because we were non-conforming.
Laura and Ed did everything right. So if you ever came in and found Laura not there, it's because she's out taking care of this mess that we didn't create. It was created by whoever built that house, I don't know, 20 years ago or something, all right? So, anybody here not know we own property in New Durham? One town owns property in another town. I'm surprised New Durham didn't take it for themselves, but that's,
Well, we bought it off.
No, we
A long
bought it.
time ago.
yeah. I'm surprised they didn't just keep it for
Because
themselves.
they started to dig and take the rocks, and then they said it was played out. Well, it wasn't played out.
20 years later.
It wasn't played out.
It's awfully far too, for them to,
Yeah, they gotta keep
Truck all the way
covering
over
up.
here.
But Rick was involved in that when they bought that and stuff like that. But that was the best buy.
There's a whole gravel bank that runs right
Yeah.
along that one.
Yeah,
The amount of money that pit is saving the town,
oh, the town, I believe is, if here's Kings Highway, this goes back a long ways. If you drive down in there now, the front part, which has been dug out, beautifully landscaped, there's a nice road that goes down. That was part of the agreement, I think with any gravel pit, you got a section that's no longer being used, you have to reclaim it. And that's been done, it looks very nice.
yeah, it does.
Do we pay taxes in addition to
New Durham,
New Durham?
they're abated every year.
Yeah,
What about the value of what's taken out of there? Is there no compensation for that?
No, we pay our $100 gravel fee to the state every year, and that's it for our permit.
Mhm. And any AOT that permits that they require us to do it periodically. So,
without getting into all the particulars, Don Vashon is the head of the highway department in New Durham. Rick Washburn is here. They work very well together. And there was a time when something happened with a piece of equipment in New Durham. Rick came before the selectmen and said, can we help him out?
That wasn't that long ago.
No, it was not, but it's nice to see the towns working together. Okay.
They also waived all of our fees for the zoning, all the application, all of that, they waived them both. The planning one, same thing.
We
And,
get all our gravel and all our sand from them.
yeah,
We don't have to buy it from anybody. The only thing that we pay for every couple of years is when they come in and make the sand and the gravel and pay somebody out of it.
Yeah, they bring that.
But the material is there already.
Materials there,
They
that's
just
just
bring a
process.
crusher.
We don't have the skills or the equipment to process, so we contract somebody to come out.
Been
So
doing that
that
for quite a
produces
while now.
all the gravel and all the sand we need for a couple of years.
If I remember correctly, I think Rick said that on average, it saves us probably $180,000, $200,000 a year.
Year.
Because any other town has to buy the sand and have it trucked in, process like that. So we do it ourselves and save that kind of money. Yeah.
Saves
Take care all
a
day
lot of
long.
money.
yeah. And that big pile of sand out there, if you look closely, each little grain of sand says New Durham on it. All right,
Made in New Durham.
cell tower,
Yeah,
anything new?
yeah.
Well,
Uh,
if you're ready, fire away.
I called him the day before the holiday. I called Sean, Blue Sky. All the, what they call red line, which is the,
Contractual.
the contract things are all straightened out between Blue Sky and AT&T. So that's all done. He says he's gonna come up here hopefully the middle of the month to go ahead and apply for a building permit to go ahead and start building. So that, we'll probably be seeing him in the middle of, Sean, in the middle of the month to get that. The other one, T-Mobile, I talked to them. I talked to him. He is, looking for the title right now, which Laura's gonna pull up and send the title to him,
I don't know what,
of the property over there. That
over where,
property,
over where.
Tanglewood. That lot over there. So we're gonna send that to him. And as far, I asked him again, is that a go over there? And he says, right now, yes, it is a go. So the lot over there that we're looking at is 200 by 165 feet. That's 2 lots put together over there, lot number 7 something, I can't think of. So, we're doing good, moving right along.
Question on the one down here.
Yeah,
Is any action needed by either the planning board or the ZBA?
no,
If so, we wanna get,
No variances required for that?
no,
good.
they're ready. They can come in once he gets his building permit and start digging.
You're thinking about the height on the tower as
Yeah.
opposed to the drop?
No,
That is a collapsible tower. It won't go sideways, it goes straight down, if anything ever happened to it.
there's still no difference, there's no variances.
In terms of Tanglewood, I'm guessing they would need some sort of public
Right
input,
now, we're not-
selectmen's input about a meeting to discuss the,
But right now, we're not doing any of that until we know that they are gonna fill out application to go ahead and do that, so once they do that, we'll have the meeting like we're supposed to have, and we'll go right by the book.
the we is the selectmen, planning board?
Planning board, planning board has to have a public meeting.
Right.
I don't think the selectmen would be involved in the contract. And that would be when I would think, if they're gonna come up and do the contract, that, after that, we do a public hearing. And let them know.
No. Be a hearing, before the contract is signed. There's a hearing when they first come up, right?
Right.
If they fill out an application
Right.
for a site plan review, then there has to be a butter and all that kind of stuff in a hearing,
Exactly.
public hearing.
Yeah, your guys on the contract, that's you.
Yeah, so then after that, then you make a decision on whether you accept the project or not.
Now, wouldn't you have an agreement before they would even bother to do a project? Wouldn't you have to agree to a contract?
Well,
Because it seems backwards.
maybe.
I was gonna say, if you don't have a contract, why would they apply for anything that's not?
Well, that's true, so if they have to come up, they have to, still, I would think there should be a hearing about the contract and what that whole project is about, because I'm not in favor of it, I'll tell you right
Well,
now.
I know that, John, because it's gonna block your beautiful view over there.
That's correct.
But-
So, question, is that the only spot that they've looked at? Are there
They looked
alternative
at that
spots?
other one down below that what they picked out before, that was,
Okay.
they picked out, they thought it was not really in a good area. There are some other ones in there,
Okay,
okay? We could also ask them that. That was, one of the reasons was that they had telephone poles running there. The electricity was going to make it easier for the electrical company to come in and the fiber optics instead of putting poles in. And of course, the lot was big enough. It was a big enough lot.
But are you talking about the one at the top of the hill?
Yeah.
Or down low?
No,
Which one
on
are they?
top of the hill.
Originally, or at some point, there was talk of one soon after going in the gate.
Yeah, they wanted that one down on the bottom, then they came back in, and when we walked it, Ed, myself, and 3 people, they decided they'd like to have that one up closer to the fence.
Joanne?
So do we have map and lot numbers for the ones that they are looking at?
Yes.
Do you have that?
No, right here, I don't.
Don't have it up, it's map 7 lot, whatever, I gotta,
That,
It's on a sticky.
but that's within the Tanglewood properties.
it's in the Tanglewood property, which the town owns that piece of property.
It makes it a little more specific, so the top of the hill, bottom of the hill,
Yeah.
that and what.
Bill?
Yeah,
So the tower down here, so if they come in, they get their permit, they get approved, when do you think that they're gonna start building it?
hopefully by the end of the month.
Are we allowed to put radio equipment on it?
Yes.
I think that was in the contract, saying,
Alright.
yes, you could put a repeater on it.
All right, because we are going to be running into a problem with Farmington's fire frequency. They
Yeah.
eventually want us on our own.
Well, yeah, but.
That was all taken into consideration 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
That's what I thought, I'm
When the
just.
first thing we said, because when we have a fire, EMS, police, highway, and
School buses.
Yep,
All right.
I'm just making sure, because I just heard scuttlebutt
We
the other day
have
about them
to, we
wanting
have
us.
to purchase the equipment though, correct?
Yeah, we purchase it and maintain it.
Do we know what the cost of that equipment is?
Stratford County Dispatch might be willing to buy some equipment.
right. At the point when this would all be discussed, that was, Stratford County was going to put the repeater up there, from what I understood.
I can ask.
So, we need to find that out too.
Might wanna do that before the budget,
Yeah,
like, so you have a number in case we need a budget.
can you do that before?
I'll do it tomorrow.
If we're gonna do it, we have to do a warrant article to pay for it, so.
I will be,
Yeah, they're talking about, I'll find out more information.
I'll be talking to Blue Sky again probably in another week or so, Sean, to get a definite date that he wants to come up.
Once that contract
And
is
of course,
signed,
fill out the application. Everything is done.
They're gonna wanna screw
Good.
right away.
Yes.
'cause
Do you
it's
have
money.
the map and lot
That's fine.
numbers at your house?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll call you.
For both of you, since you're involved with this tower down here, for as much positive comments I've heard about the one down here, I've heard an equal number of negative comments about Tanglewood. So, at some point, that's gonna have to be addressed.
Well, I have to address it, but also too, I think that would be a good idea, before the planning board addresses that you have some kind of idea, money that the town will be making, before I walk in there and say, it could be. I don't want it could be, this is what we're asking. You know, we know right now that tower down there is $1,600 a month. I think
Is it
it's
1,600 or 1,500?
1,600
Okay.
in the contract.
That's just as if, that's not with the riders or if anybody else coming on top.
If they go on, the first rider, we don't get anything, that's AT&T.
Right.
19.
After that, there's a percentage that we get, and I can't remember if it's
40%.
40 or 45% or something like that. So,
That means if Sprint wants to jump in on that tower down there with AT&T, if Verizon does, that means we get 40% of what they pay
right.
as well. Top of that.
So that's something you guys might, before we go to the meeting, let the people know, okay, this tower's going, we're looking at that place down there. If we do the contract, we're asking $2,500 a month or whatever it is, or $3,000 a month, whatever, because as it seems to me, it is only gonna be T-Mobile on that tower.
Besides, John, we could always have it dress it up to look like a tree.
And when you
That's
do that,
worse.
it looks
That's
like
worse.
Yeah, it looks.
tower that looks,
Yeah, it looks like a tower with,
looks worse.
an imitation tree.
Right, yeah.
But
Well,
You
they've
know,
all,
we'll
they've all
see- we'll
put
see.
Christmas lights on it.
the only thing we could do is just move along with it
Mhm.
and see what
Thank
happens.
you, yeah, I agree.
I mean, I ain't gonna shoot the project in the butt now, I've worked too hard for this. Years and years and years.
All right, any other discussion? Thank you for the update. Officer retirement,
Just-
just let everybody know.
Yeah, that officer, Vogel has retired. He will be coming back on, as a part-time officer to fill in and stuff, but he's officially retired.
All right. reasons for his retirement are his, nothing to do with us.
Nope.
We're happy with his performance, so it's nothing from here. I think it's his own personal reasons. Our loss. If he can come back part-time, that would be our gain.
Yeah.
Good? All right, new business. This one's mine. Besides serving as your selectman, I also serve as one of the village district commissioners. There's three of us, Jerry Waite, Henry Pedersen, and myself. One of the jobs that we have is to maintain the dam. That includes in October, November, we open the sluiceway underneath the dam itself. That allows the water to go down. That allows us to take one of the 6 or 8 dasher boards that form a line across the top of the dam. That lowers the level. You cannot take a dasher board out until the water is down low enough. Otherwise you'd be swept right off that dam. This year, we've had a lot of rain. I can attest to that because my sump pump is still running in January, okay?
Yeah.
We contacted the State Bureau of Dams, Concord. Said, what do we do? Because it's not going down. The level is not going down. They said, you better close that sluiceway before it freezes. And yeah, the ice is now frozen on the lake. Absolutely cannot draw the water down any further right now, under the concern that if you drop the water level 6 inches, that ice is no longer safe to be on. There'd be an air pocket which would easily break through without having the water to support it. So, just an update, it's up to the 3 village district commissioners to watch that dam when we have ice out. If you're familiar with the lake, the water blows down from 153 across and pushes down towards that end of the lake. No problem, as long as that ice does not build up on those dasher boards. It would break the dasher boards, causing us to make a quick phone call to Farmington. Hello, Farmington? You gotta get some water down there.
Yeah.
So, it's not up to the town to do anything. We'll be monitoring it February, March, when we start to have ice out, all right? Oh, happy days.
Yes.
The Bureau of Dams said that we are not the only lake in New Hampshire that has this problem. I think, John, you said they could not draw down Winnipesaukee.
Well, not as much as they normally do, but
For the same reason.
same reason.
You can't draw it down when there's ice on it.
The water came in too fast in November. They couldn't, I mean, they opened up the slough the second, Columbus Day, the 8th, I think,
Right.
was the first day. And we had rain in October and November, and it just couldn't keep up. And you can't remove the boards, you can't walk out on the spillway. You'll go right over the edge and you'll be dead.
Yeah.
John?
Jen, have you ever considered using those bubblers that they use around all the piers and things, so that they don't freeze up
Yeah.
around the sluiceway, so that water will go out without going down too far?
No power source.
You don't have any power down there at all?
None. So, you'd have to get the power in, which would be a series of poles and so forth.
Money.
Now you jumping on a big straw.
Just get out there and do,
Bicycle and
get out there and do periodic hatchet chopping or something.
Yeah. There is a walkway going across the dam that's higher than the water itself. I guess you could reach some of it with a chisel, but geez, I don't know what you're gonna do with a chisel. You got a whole lake full of ice coming down.
Yeah.
Well, being, and Roger can attest to it, because we're on the waterfront, but when the ice starts breaking up, it does move this way and that way.
Yeah.
And that ice will, nothing gets in its way, it'll rip your dock and everything right apart. And if we have a reasonable, warm and not wet spring and no wind, we're good. If we have a wet and a windy thing, I mean, I've seen sheets of ice in front of my house that are as big, and you have too. They go all the way down to Pinkham Cove, and then all of a sudden, you see them floating back, going the other way. And I've seen them going this way and that way. And that's a lot of ice in there. I don't know how thick it is right now. It's probably a good 4 or
Like
5
that.
inches, yeah, even
It's
that,
like that.
yeah. So, I mean, you could draw it down and say no travel on the ice, but I can tell you right now, that wouldn't
That's
stop
not there.
anybody. They'd be out there anyway.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter if they broke through, they're only drop 6 feet anyhow.
No, that's not the case. That's not the case. Where some of them are out there, it's 13, 14 feet deep, so,
Yeah, they were out there today.
yep.
And a sad tale that no one wants to hear about, the association that I belong to, because I live on the backside. Every year, we take our docks out. Every year, take them out.
Didn't take them out
This year, someone said, you know, since you draw it on the water, the ice won't be very thick on those docks, you'll be fine.
Nope.
I can tell you right now that ice is right level with the top of those docks.
They're gone.
Okay?
They're gone.
You see them in
Redo. Yeah.
That ice will be.
Either that or they'll be up my end.
Yeah, you might see some extra docks.
Farmington might be
You'll have a
getting
new dock next year.
I've got a paddle boat that was out there, and it's upside down, out on the lake right now, frozen.
All right, warrant articles, anybody?
When do you wanna go over those? Like, the ones you're gonna write, are you gonna write them, or,
I'll be glad to write them, sure.
cause you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah.
5?
They're just
Right?
common ones that we do each year.
Yeah, we can go over those if you want. I just wanna prepare them for you.
Right.
So we do the original ones, your, the road paving,
Right.
road one. We're gonna discuss the highway department building one, usually you do 10,000, we'll discuss that one. The SCBA capital reserve, that will be the same.
There's a lot of capital reserves, I
The
think.
10,000 to the revale capital reserve, the man-made disaster one, and then milfoil, you said 10,000, so same as last year. And then you'll have your 5 new ones.
Yeah, can I make an announcement?
5 new ones in addition to.
If you look on the calendar, I think it's already changed, right? Or did you change it on
What am I
the
changing?
date for the milfoil meeting? You already changed that? Okay, if you looked on the calendar prior to today, you saw on the calendar for next week, I think, which is the 19th, a Saturday. I was going to conduct I was going to have DES come up and explain about the treatment that we're going to use for the lake this year, which is a brand new herbicide. And it's nearly twice as expensive as the regular treatments we have, but it has been effective for 2 years. So it's the 16th, now I've changed it to the 16th of February. It'll be a 2-hour meeting, and the person who is in charge of the milfoil program and is renowned across New England as a person who does, we call her the weed witch, Amy Smagola. She's very knowledgeable of milfoil, its treatment process, and this new chemical. So it'll be a public meeting for everybody to come to and learn about that. So the treatment will be a little more expensive than we have in the past, but our belief is that it will be far more effective. It's been very effective on where it's been used so far in the last 2 years. It's fully approved by EPA and the Department of Agriculture, Fishing and Game, DES.
So that's the 19th?
16.
16th,
February.
February 16th.
Laura, tell them the warrant articles. How about Monday, the 14th of January, a week from today, during the day? Oh, no, Tuesdays, Mondays aren't good for you, because you're doing the,
Yeah, but they're good for you.
okay.
You don't need me. you
Then
just
if
need
there's any
to
questions, we can get them answered on that night.
What time?
Oh, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning? I
That's
don't know.
good.
Get pretty straightforward.
What time is that on the 16th?
9 o'clock at the old town hall. 9:01.
That's what day, 14th of February?
16th,
16th
Saturday.
of February.
The last one.
9 AM, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
Would you guys come up with both the warrant articles?
I'm gonna do that on
Yeah,
Monday, the
14th.
14th of January.
9 AM.
Because we have our hearing on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Should have all those done by now.
Yeah, and we have our meeting on the 21st, so that would be good, we can confirm.
Are you, Roxanne, first of all, good evening.
Good evening.
Second, are you apt to be here on Monday, the 14th, for the meeting?
For what?
This meeting?
Oh,
For
yes, next week I should be, yes, I don't
Good.
anticipate,
As
today was just, we had.
Budget
numbers
committee,
to-
you'd wanna be aware of these as well.
Yes, right, so that's why, but it works out well that you're doing it the 14th, and we will meet the following week anyway, but, yes, I plan on being here next week. It's just-
Petition articles, is there a deadline for that?
I believe it's February 5th,
Okay.
but you don't have to review those at public hearing, so.
Right.
Yeah, I got, planning board met, did a workshop last Thursday night
Okay,
to
I didn't
correct.
write that, did I?
Yeah, you didn't get there, but that's okay, that's why I'm letting you know now, Joe. Don't forget Thursday night this week, we got a meeting. Okay, so put that on your hot little phone. We went over what we needed to go over to do the corrections in our books. Janelle has got, this morning, we went and put it in language, because John gave us some language that we could put it in, of, like remove 3 to 4, take out that one sentence there on Sunrise Lake where it contradicted each other. One said you could do it, well, one said you couldn't do it, and there was a couple other little things. So we got all that done, we should be giving you voting on that Thursday night. Make sure that gets back to you guys on Monday, so that can be put, of course, that is not put in this warrant article, that goes on the ballot. Also too, Kathy was going to be our secretary. We voted on her back before the holidays. She told me that she was having problems and couldn't do it. So at that time, Janelle expressed a feeling that she would like to do it. So this Thursday, we are gonna bring her application to the board to approve as our secretary. And then I'll make sure that that gets to you guys, so you can do your approval stuff on it too. So, but in the interim, I'll let you know, she's gonna be she took the notes on Thursday night, and she'll be taking the notes on this Thursday night. So just to let you know, okay?
Drop test.
So, we're headed, we're doing our things. Just to we're not gonna do anything on solar right now. Just too much information that we gotta pull together before we can do it. So that'll probably be next year's stuff, so we'll put a solar thing in there. And,
you can't steal from another town?
think about it,
Not very original,
think about, yeah, we don't steal, we borrow. We plan on giving it back someday.
Right.
So that's the big thing, is making, we as the board decided, solar right now, we got the state stuff, we got other stuff, we wanna be able to sit down and look at that stuff more. So I think you'll find out the book is gonna be pretty much up to date, and that'll help John out quite a bit.
All right, first you, Roger, and then you, Roxanne. You have a full slate in your planning board?
But yes,
Correct number of people?
yes, I have a full slate.
Do you?
No, we don't, we have an opening, because Ken McMullen had to resign. 'Cause
Mary Napa,
I called, is her husband in the gym?
sure is, yeah.
Well, that's the cell phone number I have. I left a message for her over the weekend. I didn't hear, well, I didn't hear.
She was
anything.
on vacation,
Right, so I mean, I'll follow up again. I wasn't sure, cause it was like, hey, you've reached Jim's phone number.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, one of the same.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
I wanted to confirm that, actually, thanks.
All right, any other old business, new business from anybody?
I have a question.
Yes.
No.
Actually, Fred, no, it's not a yes or no question, actually. And John, you might be maybe the best one, or you might, I don't know.
Well,
maybe
I'm not
not.
sure of that, but.
Well, no, I don't know, but because of being in Concord. As far as we were to compare Middleton to another town, like where would we fall into? Would we say like Stratford? Would we be comparable to Stratford? Would we be, what other towns would we be comparable to? That's,
Well, it depends
Population
compared,
wise to what?
compared to what, because if you look at,
well, right, right,
if you look at population, okay,
Right.
that's one way to compare it.
right,
The assessment or your value of your properties, because that affects your tax rate.
right,
If you look at the number of businesses you have in town versus
Right, okay.
residents, okay, so a lot of that information is on the state website under the old Office of Energy and Planning. You go in there, and if you just, for example, you know, I was doing that today, looking at purchasing policies, and you look at New Durham, which everybody thinks is smaller than we are, but they're a third larger than we are in population. Milton is a third larger. So if you're looking at what I think you're looking at, and I might be wrong, if you're looking at comparable budgets, that's what I was looking at one
Yes.
time, comparable
Yes.
budgets for the town we have versus another town.
Yeah.
But there's so many variables, the property assessment makes
Yeah.
the budget is the budget, no matter what it is.
right,
And you gotta look at where the town is. The budget may be less up north because they offer less facilities, they're bigger area.
right,
If you look, we were this couple of weeks ago before Christmas, we were in Henniker, which is a beautiful town. A lot of money in Henniker.
right, well, college is over there.
College is over there. We looked at another place in Sutton,
Yep,
small town, very nice. But Stratford would be one, for down in Stratford County or Rockingham, Stratford would be one.
Madbury is smaller.
Madbury is another one.
But they're
Would
right
be
next to
similar to
UH.
us in that they don't have a lot of
right. because-
businesses.
Right,
Is that
no,
where you're
it's
trying
like-
to go?
Right, I just wanted to see something comparable as far as where we lie in our, tax rate compared to, because I know that the school board brings in and says, this is what the school rate is for our town, and this is what it is for other towns and these other different towns.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so it'd be kind of interesting to see overall budget-wise, other than school, like a town budget, to see where we lie, because,
Another good one would be.
because I just wanna say,
Effingham.
looking at it,
That's the one I was thinking of.
well, right, because I was looking at it, and I mean, yeah, because when I went to the workshop back in, back in September, there's a website you can go on and and it has all of this, it has all of the town's tax rates, it has all of the towns, broken it down by town, school,
Well, that's,
county, whatever, so you can kind of see where you.
that's online. You can.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just looking at, so that's why I said I'd be curious, and a part of that paperwork that I got, it gave you all it gave you the valuations of all, the property valuation of all the towns, so you could kind of go through and I could say, oh yeah, we have the same, about the same property valuation as say,
But there's
as
other,
Rumney, okay, well, Rumney I know is up in northern, you know what I mean, so I
but
mean, is
there's
it,
other variables that you got, for example, we were visiting 3 towns looking at highway garages, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions we asked them was, how many, huh?
Was that one where we went up?
No, you weren't with us,
Oh.
you weren't with us. We asked them, well, how many miles of roads do you have? And we were
Right.
comparing them to what we have. How many miles of the roads are paved? How many pieces of equipment do you have? What's your operating budget? How many people do you have in the highway department? Stuff like that. What do you do besides Some of these were public works, what else do you do?
Right,
Same thing with other towns, how much equipment do they have? How many police do they have? What type of fire is it? Is it full-time, part-time? How many full-time, so if you look at the tax rate and base it on population, look at the budget, that's one thing. But there are, I would think there are variables in
right, but I mean,
it is a guide, it certainly
right,
is a
that's
guide.
what I was saying, I mean, granted, I know that there's probably not another exact town in in the state of New Hampshire that would be,
Well, no towns are alike.
right, but it should be some type of guide, there should be some type of,
Well, would you not think that our budget, we don't have a lot of, our budget is paid for mostly by the taxpayers.
right,
We don't have a lot of offsetting.
right,
Middleton Building Supply, Prezios and Pine Sales are it.
right, yeah,
We have nothing else, and they provide some tax, but not as much as some people think, so that's the revenue that we have. You're right, the budget is another issue, how much do we spend? Do we overspend, underspend,
right,
are we?
it's just,
We looked at the 3 highway departments,
Mhm.
and my impression on the 3 highway departments, compared to their size and our size, we were right in the ballpark. Based on number of roads, based on number of employees, projects that they did and so forth and so on. It was an informal question and answer with each of the departments, so in that particular case, we felt we were in line
right,
there.
right.
So,
John, comment?
Avatar would be a very good source for you for information. If you contacted them for towns the same size, because they do taxes for 70-plus towns in the state. And they can help you out a lot. That's what I used to do, is to try and compare.
Well, I mean, this website that's on, it's on the Hampshire website, I don't know off the top of my head, everything I've been home. But it, you know, you can go in there and you can look by population, but you can also look by, like, that other information that I got at the
The
website.
assessment.
The assessment values of the different towns. So it just gives you a good, kinda gives me a ballpark of where, you know, where we're lying in with other towns.
yeah,
In red, I looked at, okay, so now if I just look at, say, if I just wanna look at Stratford County, I can, because, you know, those would be towns that are around us, you know, versus if I looked at the whole state. So, I mean, I was looking at different views, but I just said, oh, I'll just ask the question and say, is there some, you know, what would you suggest that there are towns that are comparable that would be for Middleton as far as.
you're gonna have to go west, to the smaller towns,
Yeah.
and maybe north.
Yeah,
a little bit.
right. So,
John, thank you for not mentioning number 4 taxpayer. And when you look at towns, I recommend you do not look at Wolfboro as the selectmen there grappling with a $27 million budget.
no, I'm not looking at Wolfboro. Yeah, maybe Moltenboro.
Stay away
that's
from
still-
Wakefield too.
While we're talking about budgets, and it just popped in my mind again, I need a laptop for my young lady here.
That can be,
Can we add that to my budget line, if it's
you
possible?
can add anything you want to the budget.
Well, I'd like,
Laura, do we still have any leftovers?
We gave them to you guys.
I should ask him to.
yeah, we had one, Amy didn't want it, was given to who?
Joe has
Oh, to Joe,
it as a board member.
yeah, so,
What's wrong with the computer upstairs?
there's nothing wrong with the computer upstairs, but sometimes she has to do stuff at home. Like everybody, you know, so I'd rather have her
Well,
have
we can get
something.
you,
So-
can we look up from home? Yeah,
She'd need her own computer
or you
though.
don't have a PC at home, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Just in general,
something like this.
why are we doing work at home?
Because usually that's the only time she's gonna have opportunity to get the planning board stuff done, because she's working for you guys. And that's when Amy got all her
I
stuff.
think,
I'm leery of having,
I think this proposal can come up during your budget.
We already did the budget thing.
Well, then you can amend the budget before it's submitted.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
Well, I
wanna
don't know.
amend that to be able to put the
I
computer.
think we should take a look at that.
because everybody that's been on the board as secretaries should have a pad or a computer at home.
They've always used the one upstairs until Amy.
Pardon me?
They've always used the one upstairs until Amy.
Wow.
And it was only because we ended up with the 3 laptops from the PD, so we found homes for them, is what you did.
Yeah, but Amy had her own thing that she was doing work on, and I think I just want her to be able to have something, so if she needs to get work done for the planning board, it would be much more easier for her to put it on her laptop and bring a flash drive in.
If I understand you correctly, you're suggesting that the town buy some sort of computer to be used in someone's house?
One of these. Well, what's the difference? I mean, she could
Because-
take that home, or Joe could take his home, or the fire department could take theirs home. I
I
just
don't think so. You guys take it home?
I got my laptop right in that bag.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking
Right.
that we could purchase a laptop for the planning board, so my secretary, if she needs to do stuff, can do it.
Okay. Well. Joanne?
Would she be using it for internet connections, or would she just be using it for documents and typing things? And
Her
Taking notes.
documenting.
so if it's not an internet connectivity issue where there would be a potential security breach, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it would use be for internet, because you'd have to email the documents to people, that's why they're upstairs. That's why there's a computer upstairs, it's monitored by our technology guy, so.
Well, if it weren't internet ready, she could still use it on a flash drive and bring the flash drive in.
Yeah, and that's what I
But
want.
if you start bringing a flash drive in,
I don't know.
you're in the building, right?
Yes, but if she's in the building when she's doing her work as a tax collector, and she's got the flash drive, she can, like she had over across the street with a flash drive, she can plug that flash drive in while she's doing what she needs to do, have it print out and have it ready for us. Because right now, there's quite a bit of work that we're doing.
All right. Anything else? Any other topics that we have not covered? That's it?
Peter's still in? We have something?
All right, I would
Go home,
entertain
John.
a motion to.
Do you want the sealed bids for the ATV tires?
Or-
Or is it supposed to-
I'd go buy it.
Correct.
I'm skinny.
They would do Thursday.
Of last week?
I thought it was a
Probably
7
say Wednesday.
You have it now?
I had one.
Right? You do now?
Do we have any?
No.
Go on.
Yeah, sure. Dated the
Good luck reading that.
7th, offer for 4 used ATV tires, $100. And your name is on it, so I'm guessing it's from you.
Yes.
Okay. So. Okay.
Make a motion to approve the bid. It's the only one we got, right?
Second?
Good, give it a discussion. All right, I'll take it.
Okay.
Good. All right, if there's no other,
We only take cash.
It's the only way it was gonna come.
Sorry.
if there's no other business, I'm look for a motion to move into, oops.
One more thing, when we were talking about E&H and, speaking for personal residences at home, there is a utilities commission that you can go to and get the whole long list of all the providers if you wanna check comparative rates and get cheaper ones.
All right,
I do it every year. In May. That's when they change the rates. Right now, it's Eversource.
okay, so I would look for a motion to move into non-public as per RSA 91-A3, Roman numeral 2, at 8:05.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Nickel and dime.
all in favor? All right, thank you.
Don't go nowhere.
Who, me?
We need to have Laura come back in for this.
All right, thank you, Bill.
I don't.
Thank you for coming to Conroe.
Thank you for listening, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, just so we can finish the meeting, I'll go home and,
Have dinner.
yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hi guys, thank you.
Thanks, Don, good night.
I took care of, what's his name today?
Did you get that thing out of
She not here.
Left.
So, basically, we just need a motion to come out of non-public, we're gonna seal the minutes or whatever.
Yeah. So, first of all, I need a motion made to seal the minutes, so the meeting.
No, that's not in public, I believe.
What's
We
that?
have to get back into public first. Is there a motion to go back into public at 9:12?
No, I think according to this, we seal the minutes first.
Okay.
And then we have a roll call to seal the minutes, then the motion passed or did not pass, then motion to leave non-public.
Okay,
So,
Okay,
That's
I'll make a
what-
motion that we, seal the minutes for, different personnel we usually do for 5 years.
yes.
okay, I'm just making notes here. Roll call for five, where does it say for 5 years? Let's see.
Oh, don't we write it in?
Because the determined the most likely would affect it, carry out. I'm gonna just put 5 years, okay?
Yeah.
Let's put it down there. Okay, so, roll call,
John Hotchkiss, yes.
Joe Bailey, yes.
John Mullen, yes, okay, motion passed. Okay, motion to leave non-public by, make a motion, we leave non-public at 9:13.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Okay,
adjournment?
yep, seconded by Joe Bailey.
Time.
Where's the time, motion to
Maybe 9:13.
9:13.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
PM.
Well, no, we have to go back into public.
Okay, I thought that.
A non-public meeting tape, remove public meeting tape replaced, so do we gotta put it back in? Are we
It's
back
all
in?
done.
Okay. Public session reconvenes at
14.
14.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We missed that protocol quick, didn't we?
Okay,
So now
I will,